welcome to Robert Sarazin Blake from the Kitchen Table. My name is Robert Sarazin Blake, and of course, this is the Kitchen Table, and David Penderloffen, as always, on my right, the man who's connecting me to you, our kitchen table, your kitchen table, to kitchen tables far and wide. And the hope is that this kitchen table goes anywhere it needs to go. And I hope you're having a good Sunday, and I hope we make your Sunday a little brighter. Got a great show. We got Biddy on the bench coming into us from Portland, Oregon, and we are in a pre-St. Patrick's Day frame of mind, so we're going to have a good time. Start with the candles. As always, lives are still being lost. We are a year now, over a year into this pandemic. Our lives have been radically changed. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We're not there yet. We still got to keep a distance, and as we like to say on this show, distancing is mandatory, but suffering is optional. But there is some suffering that was not optional, so we want to light a candle here for all those lives that are lost this last year due to the pandemic. And of course, we'll light a candle for the people who are not lost, but those who are suffering. Maybe they're suffering because they've lost someone they love. Maybe they've been ill themselves. Maybe it's financial. Maybe it's the isolation. We're going to light a candle for the suffering. And we'll also got to keep hope alive. We're going to light a candle for gratitude for all the things that are good in our lives, and for hope that this will be over soon, and that somehow we will learn something of value from this year of isolation, this great pause. And we're grateful for all that we have. Lighting this candle here. Here we go. And this is our third week adding a new part of the show, and that is that we're all going to have a drink together. Well, we've been having drinks together before, one way or the other, but now we are having a collective drink experience. So the call went out last week that this week we'd be drinking whiskey neat. Irish whiskey, perhaps, if you're inclined, as the holiday is upon us. And if not, Irish whiskey, a local whiskey. And Chucknut Distilleries here in Bellingham was kind enough to send us a bottle of their brand new bourbon. So I'm going to pour one for me, and I'll pour one for you. And they have a tasting room right downtown, so you can go and check out what they got going on. Here's to you. And so everybody gather this kitchen table here. We'll have a few songs, a few stories. So glad you're with us. Biddy on the bench coming in from Portland. A drink to you, joining us here today. As I mentioned last week in the opening remarks, and I would be talking about it more this week, I did just over a week ago lose a friend to COVID-19. He was not all that much older than me. A friend of mine from Boston. Well, I would say he's from Boston, and that's because I live in the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state, in the lower 48. If I actually lived there, I would say he's from Winter Hill, that worked in Somerville. You see, people from over there don't call everything Boston because not everything is Boston. That area is a bunch of little cities crammed up against each other. But the further you get away from it, the more they all become Boston. I met Hugh the first time I played in Boston, except it wasn't Boston, it was Somerville. I played at the Burn in Somerville. And afterwards, they said, are you coming back to Hugh's? I said, I don't know, am I coming back to Hugh's? Yeah, Hugh was bartending that night, went back to Hugh's, and Hugh's had the most incredible after parties that you would ever be a part of. Went back to Hugh's place, played a few songs. Hugh's apartment was a museum of musical merriment. There were guitars everywhere. Every hallway, it was a 3-bedroom apartment stacked with guitars, with guitar cases, bass, drum kits stacked up, mixing boards, consoles, speakers. And people knew that after the show was over, you could go to Hugh's, there would be songs in the living room and be laughter in the kitchen. Had a great night that night, meeting Hugh and a bunch of the Boston musicians. And then Hugh turned up at the Kerrville Folk Festival, which that was his first time. Now, Hugh was very Boston Irish, although he lived in Winter Hill. And there I remember his pale Boston skin in the hot Texas sun getting burnt. And Hugh just his mind being blown getting down to the Kerrville Folk Festival, the 21-day film festival. I didn't go to college. I went to Kerrville, and I know a lot of other people feel the same way. And Hugh showed up at Kerrville my sophomore year. Let's just say there's a lot of people who are doing continuing education. They last a lot longer than 4 years. I went for the better part of 10 years. Kerrville Folk Festival, where people gather in small circles in a campground in the Texas Hill Country and play songs all night, one at a time. That's also where I met Bill Davis, and I learned the greatest love song ever written from here, otherwise known as Beer Song, to some of my happy hour audience. And Bill Davis and I called Hugh McGowan the total package, because Hugh could sing great, he could play great guitar, he wrote great songs, he could sing harmony on your songs, he could sing Irish ballads, and if you needed an 80s hit, he could do that too. The guy can do it all. It's the total package. He had the most wonderful after parties. Whenever I was coming through Boston, I would stay with Hugh, and we had these great parties. I'm not talking about parties that started in the nighttime and went deep into the night. I'm talking about parties that started deep into the night and went to the morning. And Hugh would eventually sing his songs. People in the room knew his songs. I got a song of his to sing for you right now. My buddy Hugh McGowan. Lost him about 10 days ago. I was alone at sea, she splashed round me, her hand I did take, happily cast in her wake. And since that first kiss, I knew I would never settle for less than this. And as far as I can tell, what secrets will I tell? For I know that she's my belle for sure. Haven't you heard? Give you my word, this place is hers. I've been known to roam, now I'm fixing up a home. If I make my bed upright, maybe she'll stay the night. Further than I would normally dare, this last most magnificent year, she's the one I'm thinking of. Some might call it love, but it's more than a word. Give you my word, haven't you heard? This place is hers. Satellites in range, I'm writing love songs in present tense for a change. Haven't you heard? Give you my word, this place is hers. Give you my word, haven't you heard? This place is hers. This is hers. These great parties, and of course the people in Boston are such great musicians that people would know his songs and people would sing along with harmony, and 24-hour Tom would be there playing the bass, and the laughter coming out through the kitchen, the bottles would be passing around, the peace pipe would be passing around, and the neighbors put up with it all. This apartment was home to so much great great, great music. And a little bit of negligence. I do remember that being there one time in March, coming through. See, what happens throughout the early O's into the early teens, the 20 O's, the 20 teens, I would quite often be coming into Boston on my way to or my way home from Ireland, which meant I would be staying at Hughes quite often, either on my way out or my way back. And I remember being there in March one time, and there was a little problem with the shower. Had the hot water faucet was permanently spraying, so we had kind of a piece of plastic sort of manipulating the spraying water into the tub, and I went home back to Washington, my home, most northwest quarter, most northwest state in lower 48. Went back on tour in October and stayed at Hughes, and wouldn't you know, they hadn't gotten around to fixing that hot water spraying everywhere in the bathroom. You know, the focus was on the music, it was not on the home maintenance. Hugh McGowan, he's got one record out there on Bandcamp. You can look that up. I've been listening to it a lot this last week. But he always would play this one for me. This was my favorite Hugh McGowan song. For those that don't know, the airline that flies from Boston to Dublin is Aer Lingus. That's one of the Irish airlines. And that's the airline I would be taking when I was going over to tour Ireland, as I did once a year for about 15 years. And he would always sing this one for me. Not before recently, when I was listening to the record, I think, did I ever listen to the song without a glass in my hand. But I will have a sip here for Hugh before I play it for you. Getting a little clinkety clack from my shirt here. Well, we are still performing outdoors here because of COVID times, which means the guitar is bouncing around a little bit here as we settle into we were dropping into the lower 40s for the rest of this performance here. All right. That's going to be nicer. All right. My favorite Hugh McGowan song. Only one drink this time. Someone left, who he said, as I sat in my chair all alone, making gallant predictions of things yet to come, as a plane took to the road. In a bar, in an airport, at the end of the day, he said, I see your heart is break. One's gotta go and one's gotta stay. At my command to carry her safely home. As Aer Lingus 104 takes to the sky, my hopes for a happy new year. So we talked of the loss of a newfound love, with a watchful eye on the sky. I told him about skirts in the sunlight, the wild of her emerald eyes. In a bar, in an airport, with a whiskey and a stout, as I raised a glass to my girl as her plane taxied on out. Send all the angels at my command to carry her safely home. takes in the sky, my hopes for a happy new year. At my command, carry you safely home. As Erlingus 104 takes in the sky, my hopes for a happy new year. What a great song from my buddy Hugh McGowan. Was never a dry eye on my head when he sang that, when I was either just fresh off Aer Lingus 104 or about to get on the next morning. Never book a morning flight out of Boston because you're not going to the bed till the morning. And that's handy because the flight's leaving Logan Airport, flying to Dublin Airport. You don't board till about 4:30 or maybe 5:30 or 6:30 in the evening, so that's perfect for a gig in Boston the night before and a party at Hugh's apartment after that, playing songs till the sun comes out, crash a little bit, and Hugh might just go ahead and give you a ride to the airport. Hugh McGowan loved music. He loved making music happen. He was there for his community. We came through one time with David on drums. We needed to borrow a drum kit. He was able to provide that. I played very few shows in my life with somebody else's guitar, but luckily the time I showed up and my guitar was broken, he was there and he had a guitar I could play. I don't know how many times he's handed somebody his guitar at an open mic, carrying around an extra 1/4-inch cable. The guy was there to help people. I bet he had a pack of strings on him at all times in case somebody broke a string so he could help out. He ran sound, he ran open mics, he bartended, he played gigs, he sang harmony, he played the guitar. He loved music. He helped me out a long time ago. I had a gig in Vermont. I got to open up the great Aeneas Mitchell, and the problem was I had no wheels, and I was in Boston, and Hugh had wheels. Hugh and I both met Aeneas down at Kerrville, and I knew he loved her music, so I kind of said, Hugh, maybe you could drive me up to Vermont, and maybe I'm opening Aeneas, maybe you could sit in with her, Hugh lit up at the prospect of being able to sit in with Aeneas. I called Aeneas and said, hey, I'm in Boston. I got to get to the gig tomorrow. Hugh was going to drive me. You think he could sit in with you? And Aeneas said, sure, love you. So the deal was brokered. Hugh drove me up to somewhere in deep, small town Vermont to open up Aeneas Mitchell in a bookstore. Before she was one of the most 100 influential people of the year, as she was in 2020. This was more like 2004. Hugh drove me up there. We had a great drive. Drove through Concord, New Hampshire. He told me about playing a St. Patty's Day gig in Concord, and we told all kinds of stories about music and gigs and girlfriends and families in Ireland. I believe Hugh's father lived in Dublin. He was either that or at least born in Dublin and lived in Boston. It seems to me his dad was in Dublin. All to say, he was definitely Irish, and it definitely showed down there in the Texas Hill Country. And he was a great friend to many musicians. So I'm going to close this little tribute here with a song by a songwriter both Hugh and I admired very much, our friend Aeneas Mitchell. You were dead when they found you on the floor of your apartment. You were dead, and your drum set sat there shining. shine like stage lights, shining like your eyes. Oh, shining like Orion in the night. You were small time back in Boston, where the drummers are all poor. You were knocking out, rocking out this dive bar. There were bottles on the floor, and a couple old people, and the bartender and I remember what it is to be alive. Hey, Orion's falling, catch him if you can. Hey, Orion is falling, amen, amen, amen. Were you dreaming of the big time when you fell down on the floor to see the velvet curtain, the silver microphone? Did you hear your own heart beating? Did you hear it beating slow? Did you hear your own heart playing rock and roll? Hey, Orion is falling, catch him if you can. Hey, Orion is falling, amen, amen, Graham Parsons in a hotel, Buddy Holly on a plane, and you in your apartment with your drum set shining, shining like stage lights, shining like your eyes. Oh, shining like Orion in the night. Hey, Orion is falling, catch him if you can. Hey, Orion is falling, amen, amen, amen. You McGowan, and you will be missed. We'll keep singing your songs. Thank you for taking care of all of us, loaning us guitar, driving us to a gig, picking me up from the airport, letting John Elliott sleep in your couch whenever he was coming through, along with everybody else who took care of him. Setting up here for the gig, the neighbor walked by and said, "Why aren't you wearing green?" I said, "Because St. Patrick's Day is on Wednesday." She says, "It's St. Patrick's Day Monday." All right, let's get into it. St. Patrick's Day coming up in a few days. Every year I get the chance to play the repertoire I inherited from my father, Peter Blake. I inherited this repertoire of Clancy Brothers and Dubliners songs, along with a few songs from Planksty. Did I say Planksty already? Perhaps I did. Dubliners, Planksty, Clancy's. I discovered Pecker Dunn on my own, and the Pogues as well. And every year we play these songs at Boundary Bay and maybe a few other spots, but of course we'll be playing our St. Patrick's Day set right here on the television set. Coming to you live on Wednesday, 5 to 8, BYO, everything. We're bringing the music, so please tune in. We're only going to be able to do a trio this year to be able to keep appropriate distancing. We're going to be going outside, open air. We'll be adding our brother Jan Peters on harmonica, bazooka, and vocal. Very excited to have Jan. The group, David, of course, will be there. So we'll do a few bits of that in preparation for Patty's Day, and Biddy on the bench will be coming up in a little bit. Last night, as I slept, I dreamt I met with Bean. I took him by the arm, and we passed the time of day. Question on his views, the crux of life's philosophies. He said, I have these few simple words to say. I'm going, no matter which way the winds might be blowing. I'm going where streams of whiskey are flowing. Bail and landed in jail. Life often tried to stretch me, but the rope was only slack. Now I've got a pile. Go down to the Chelsea. I'll go there on my feet, and I'll leave there on my back. I'm going, no matter which way the winds might be blowing. I'm going where streams of whiskey are flowing. All the words that he spoke seemed the wisest of philosophies. There's nothing to be gained by all what they call fear. The world gets too dark, and I need a light inside me. I'll go into a pub and drink 15 pints of beer. I'm going, no matter which way the winds might blow. I'm going where streams of whiskey are flowing. I'm going, no matter which way the winds might blow. I'm going where streams of whiskey are flowing. All right, from the great Shane McGowan and the Pogues. And now we're going to do one that my father always called the sobriety test. Doing it early in the show is a little bit unfair, really. I mean, you do this one in the third set and you pass it, you're doing all right, for sure. Wish me luck nonetheless. From the Clancy's, I believe. Oh, yeah. It was Johnny Mac. Oh, let's just pitch that up a half step if it's all the same to the listening audience. Johnny McEldew, Mickey, and me, and a couple of two or three went on a spree one day. We had a bob or two, which we knew how to blew. The beer and whiskey flew, and we all felt gay. We visited McCann's, McLeman's, Hoopty Dan's, then went on to Swan's, our stomachs sport to pack. We ordered out to feed, which indeed we did need, and we finished it with speed, but we still felt slack. Johnny McEldew turns blue as the dew, and a plate of Irish stew we soon put out of sight. We ordered in the core with a roar for some more that he never felt before, such a keen appetite. He ordered eggs and ham, bread and jam, what a cram. Him we couldn't tram, though we tried our level best. For everything they brought, cold or hot, mad or not, he down him like a shot, and he still stood the test. He swallowed Scotland Yard in the yard, we stood guard. We thought he would go hard when the waiter brought the bill. We told him to get more, we swore he'd lower twice as much and get him more before he's had his fill. He's nearly supped a trough full of broth, says my broth, but down to the tablecloth, and we don't haul him in with the waiter brought the charge. McEldew grew so large, began to scold and barge, his blood set on fire, began to curse and swear, pull his hair in despair. To finish the affair, called the shopman a liar, the shopman he threw out, and no doubt he did clout McEldew. He kicked about like an old football, tied all his clothes, broke his nose, I suppose. They killed him with a few blows in no time at all. McEldew began to scowl and growl on his soul. He threw an empty bowl at the shopkeeper's head. He was stopped by Mickey, who took the skin off his chin. The eruptions did begin, and we all fought and bled. The healers did arrive, men alive, 4 or 5. At us they made a drive to march us all away. Paid for all the meat we'd eats to the treat, and went home to ruminate on the spree that day. I think I passed. Oh, I hope you're feeling as good as I am. I'm excited for St. Patrick's Day. Always a pleasure to be playing this material, these old songs. There's a lot to be learned from these old songs. Let's do this one here. I love this one. Also from the Clancys. 'Tis of a brave young highwayman, the story I will tell. His name was Willie Brennan, and in Ireland he did well. He was up on Kirkwood Mountain, he commenced his wild career, and many a wealthy nobleman before him shook with fear. It was Brennan on the moor, Brennan on the moor, oh brave and undaunted was young Brennan on the moor. As when one day as Willie strolled along down there, he felt the mayor of Cashel. Where are we? Strolled along. The thing about it, do this repertoire once a year, sometimes it will slip away from you a little bit, but it comes back. One day as Willie marched along the mountainside, he met the mayor of Cashel, a mile outside of town. The mayor, he knew his features, and he said, "Young man," said he, "your name is William Brennan, you must come along with me." It was Brennan on the moor, Brennan on the moor, oh brave and undaunted was young Brennan on the moor. Brennan's wife came into town, provisions for to buy. When she saw her Willie, she began to weep and cry. He said, "Pen me that threepenny." As soon as Willie spoke, she handed him a blunderbuss from underneath her cloak. It was Brennan on the moor, Brennan on the moor, oh brave and undaunted was young Brennan on the moor. With this lady's blunderbuss, the truth I will unfold. He made the mayor to tremble, and he robbed him of his gold. 100 pounds was offered for his apprehension there, so he with horse and saddle to the mountain did repair. It was Brennan on the moor, Brennan on the moor, oh brave and undaunted was young Brennan on the moor. Brennan on the moor, Brennan on the moor, oh brave and undaunted was young Brennan on the moor. Brennan on the moor, oh brave and undaunted was young Brennan on the moor. The wonderful thing about the Irish folk song tradition, pub song tradition, is that songs that started out somewhere else can join the canon. They don't have to start out there. Take the Lakes of Pontchartrain. It's a song about New Orleans, but it becomes part of the tradition. This song was written by Ralph McTell. It's on a record called Irish Folk Night, one of my favorite records of all time. It definitely is the pub canon. It's full ships ahead, and you work hard for the cry. Sleep late on Sundays, and I never get to Mass. Oh, it's a long, long way from Clare to here. Oh, it's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way. It gets further by the day. Oh, it's a long, long way from Clare to here. day comes around, only turns to fighting. Me ma would like a letter home, but I'm too tired for writing. And it's a long, long way from Clare to here. Oh, it's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way, and it gets further by the day. Oh, it's a long, long way from Clare to here. Almost breaks my heart when I think of Josephine. Told her I'd be coming home, pockets full of green, and it's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way, it gets further by the day. Oh, it's a long, long way from Clare to here. Sometimes I hear a fiddle play, maybe it's an ocean. I dream I see white horses dance along that western ocean. And it's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way from Clare to here. It's a long, long way, and it gets further by the day. Oh, it's a long, long way from Clare to here. Oh, it's a long, long way from Clare to here. Ralph McTell, long way from Clare to here. You know what? We've been cruising right along here. We forgot a few things, it occurs to me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's time for the third song check-in. Even though we are deeply past the third song, got to check in on a few things. First off, thank you very much for spending your Sunday with us at the kitchen table. We know this kitchen table goes far and wide, and if you haven't already, please let us know where you're listening in from. Sometimes this table goes all the way up to Canada. Sometimes this kitchen table reaches down to Texas and to Louisiana. Sometimes this kitchen table reaches over to Alabama Hill, which is about 3 miles from here. It goes all over the place, so we hope you've pulled up a chair and you're settling in. And we ask you at this point, if you can, figure out how to share this on your personal Facebook stream. It's not so hard. There's a button somewhere on there. You share it, and that means it pops up on your stream. That means that some friend of yours might be feeling a little lonely tonight. They're sitting at home, and they've done that thing I've done myself. I'm ashamed to say it. You're scrolling through the Facebook because you got a few minutes to kill, so you're just scrolling. Maybe someone out there would like to join us all at this kitchen table here, and they won't know about it unless you share it, and so that really helps us out. Also, please do make a contribution to the digital tip jar. That helps us out. We spread that with the Biddy boys, and we'll get the Biddy boys here in a moment, but see if there's anything we need to hear from Comment Land that David can fill us in on.
Well, I'm happy to report that Bellingham has taken it upon himself to sort of camp counselor the comment situation, and right now everyone is sharing their favorite memory from the past week. So we've got memories like Judy Straker started her vegetable garden, so much dirt. Henry St. Clair Wordman did say that when he starts with Brennan on the Moor, he ends up with Johnson's motor car. Catherine Broom, favorite memory, sitting outside with a friend, and it wasn't freezing cold. Terry and Jennifer got their second COVID shots this week. That's a big deal. And it looks like we've got the regular crew plus some. There was discussion about Wednesday and what folks would be eating and drinking. Sounds like the standard fare.
All right, we're going to charge on?
Yep.
Charge on,
We're
okay.
ready.
Charge on. Well, we got the Biddy boys coming on very soon. But we did have a request before the show even started, and now I've got to play for Henry down there. Was down at Bradigan's corner one morning night and straight. Met a fair young rebel, and to me he did say, I have orders from the captain to assemble at Stellar, but how will we get there without no motor car? Oh, Barney dear, be good of cheer, I'll tell you what we'll do. Specials they are plentiful, but the IRA are few. Let's send a wire to Johnson to assemble at Stellar, and we'll give the boys a bloody good ride in Johnson's motor car. When Dr. Johnson heard the news, he then put on his shoes. He said this is an urgent case, there is no time to lose. He then put on his captain hat and on his rusty star, and you could hear it in all through Glenfinnan Johnson's motor car. When Johnson came to the railway bridge, the rebels he saw there, yes, then he knew the game was up, so at him they did stare. He said, I've got a permit to travel near and far. To hell with your English permit, we want your motor car. We put that car in motion and filled it to the brim with guns and bayonets shiny, which made old Johnson grin. Then Barney hoisted ship-fame flag and fluttered like a star. We gave you cheers for the IRA and Johnson's motor car. Here's one of mine from my record recorded in Belfast. Request just before the show began, and after this we're going to have our friends from Portland, the Biddy on the bench, coming our way. I love it when it rains, and you hear it on the rooftop, plucking plinkett, dug from the fire. Beans and cinnamon, put on a record by Louis Ledford. I love it when it rains. I love it when it rains, and you hear it on the rooftop. Oh, you can see it. I love it when it rains, and you see it. First the tears, then the faucet goes on the window, psychedelic. Memories cut through the static. I love it when it rains. I love it when it rains. The clouds swell up. It's pretty clear, it's not gonna stop. Pittsburgh, Ketchikan, Bellingham, Maine, Bergen, Belfast, Aberdeen. I love it when it rains. Wish I could see you again. Though nothing will be what it's been. A cup of coffee, a mug of tea. I only get to see in my dreams. So I love it when it rains. Let it sing, let it near. Call, I don't want to miss it. Open my arms and greet it. I love it. Thanks for being at the kitchen table here. Our friends, all the way from Portland, Oregon, Biddy on the bench are coming in. I'm putting the earpiece in. And one of the last gigs I played, real live gigs with real live people, was with these brothers of mine down just shy south end of Portland. And we had a great night at their local Scottish pub. And welcome everybody to the kitchen table. Boys, are you there?
We are.
We are here.
All right, all right. What was the name of that pub we had such a great night in?
It was the Highland Stillhouse. Yeah,
the Highland Stillhouse, and they're probably not still open at the moment, but maybe they have some outdoor seating and.
They've got that lovely patio that looks over the waterfalls down there by the old decrepit paper company. It's a beautiful spot to sit and outside when it's not raining.
It was January last year, so I saw nothing other than the coziness of that inside. And it was exactly what we've not been allowed to do, which is cram a bunch of people into a small space. I mean, just crammed in. It's like if I wanted to make a G chord, one of the other members of the band there had to move, you know.
Yeah, you borrowed Trevor's pinky on a number of occasions.
Yeah, I had to.
And there were two more of us at that point as well, so it was close quarters for sure.
So, fellas, let me introduce you here. Up in my left-hand corner, I'm not sure what they're seeing on the fiddle, that's Trevor.
Yes, hello.
And then over, also in the upper, this is like Hollywood Stars. It's absolutely fantastic. That's Noah over there. And I'm not sure what Noah's going to play because he's not showing us, Trevor's letting it all hang out. Noah's kind of holding back. We're not sure what he's doing there. He may just
keep
be
the cards close to my vest.
He could be doing humor. I don't know. We'll see. And down in the bottom, that is the red-bearded handyman of Portland. If you have a leaky sink or something like that, he doesn't. Playing guitar is not the only trick. We were talking about this earlier, but it's his best trick. Make him feel welcome at the kitchen table. That's Kevin down there with the guitar, and that's their beautiful logo there. The name of the band is Biddy on the Bench. Often there's more of them, but there's, it's COVID. We're doing the best we can here, so glad to have you. And fellas, you're all healthy and strong?
Yes.
Healthy.
Okay, good.
Strong? That's debatable. The arm wrestling championships have been postponed, so it's hard to know exactly how much stronger I've become.
It's hard to socially distance and arm wrestle at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That reminds me, at Jamboree 4 or 5, there actually was an arm wrestling contest. So when we finally get you guys to the Jamboree, maybe we'll bring back the arm wrestling contest.
It was actually one year at St. Patrick's Day, we played at a little brewery called Feckin' Brewery down just barely past, they might not be open anymore, but they just down past Highland where we had played, and they had like a arm wrestler guy there, and we had a blast, and he just crushed every one of us, like one after another. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was a ritual humiliation of the band.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good old-fashioned fun is what that is.
Yes.
That's like low environmental impact, So we think about this, how are we going to grow an economy but without creating a lot of waste? And so we think about things like yoga classes, okay, it's not creating something you buy, you're buying the experience. Arm wrestling is something I hadn't spent a lot of time thinking about. I think we could sort of get some banter about that in the comments. But while we do, fellas, the program here is you'll do a short set, and then we'll go back and forth. And why don't you play 2, and then I'll jump in with a little bit of chat, and then we'll take it from there. So glad to have you at the kitchen table. You're very welcome here, and thanks for bringing some of your friends, and really looking forward to hearing you.
Oh, we're very happy to be here, Robert. Thank you.
I I'm a heartbroken raftsman from Greenville I came. All my virtues departed with the lass I did feign. From the strong darts of Cupid I've suffered much grief. Now my heart's broke asunder, I can get no relief. Of my trouble I'll tell you without much delay. Of a sweet little lassie my heart stole away. She's a blacksmith's fair daughter on the flat riverside, and I always intended to make her my bride. I work on the river where the wide waters roar, and my name I've engraved on the high rocky shore. I'm the boy that stands happy on the dark purling stream, but my thoughts were on Molly, she haunted my dreams. I gave her fine jewels, the finest of lace, and the costliest muslins her form to embrace. I gave her my wages, all for to keep safe. I deprived her of nothing I had on this earth. While I worked on the river, I earned quite a stake. I was steadfast and steady and ne'er played the rake. For Camp Flat and River I am very well known, and they call me Jack Haggerty, the pride of the town. Till she wrote me a letter which I did receive, and she said from her promise herself she would leave, for to wed with another she'd a long time delayed, and the next time I'd see her she'd no more be a maid. To her mother Jane Tucker I lay all the blame, for she caused her to leave and go back on my name, for to cast off the rigging that God was to tie, and to leave me a rambler till the day that I die. So come all you bold raftsmen with hearts stout and true, don't trust to a woman 'cause you beat if you do, but if you do meet one like Chestnut Girl, remember Jack Haggerty and the Flat River Pearl. So that was a little song called Jack Haggerty. Comes from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, from the logging camps up there. I think these guys are going to play a couple tunes for you now.
Beautifully. Were we there? Beautifully done, fella. Sounding great.
Ooh, thank you.
Yeah, very good. I get it now. Noah is singing. See, it's when you see Biddy in the bench, it's such an overwhelming experience. There's a million of them in the group, and then to keep track of who does what in the group, and each one's better looking than the last one. So you just kind of get lost in this mirage of
Well, see, here's the problem: is I'm on one end. Now I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
So very good, and what's wonderful is a lot of people don't know about this yet, but these guys are kind of real tech oriented. So they've actually cracked the code. One is piping in from southwest Portland, one from southeast Portland, one from northwest Portland, and they've actually got a program going where they can all play music at the same time. And so that's pretty cool. We're now. If you want to learn how to do that yourself, you're going to have to go right to their website and make a very generous donation, straight to them. Don't give that to me. That's go straight to them, and they can tell you more about that later. But let's have a little humor. What is the best? Each of you tell us the best thing about this year of the great pause.
Trevor, why don't you start?
Well,
Let me put down my 200-pound viola.
actually, that is a good thing I can talk about. You know, as you might not know, I'm not doing magic on the stage here. This is a viola, and I have my violin here too. I actually repaired this during the pause that we had here, and have been fiddling on viola.
Wow.
And I've been really enjoying that immensely. So I guess that's my positive.
Not only did you learn the viola, but you built it yourself, or you repaired it yourself.
Well, I started on viola actually, so
Okay.
I am
Okay.
a violist.
We made
and
him play fiddle.
and then
We
they
were
made
like,
me.
none of that.
They forced me
None
to
of
play
that crap.
fiddle.
But he brought it back. We couldn't stop it.
Well, it's beautiful. You know, it's it's warmer and lower, and in a ballad, small group setting, it's really suits. Once you get in that back to the still house, and there's the 13 of you that there are in the full band, you're going to need the high notes of the fiddle so anyone can hear you at all. But
Yeah.
that's cool.
For this setting, it works great.
And Noah, best thing about the Great Pause?
Well, I'd say there's been a lot of pretty awesome things. I was living up in Seattle, which I was having a good time up there. I was going to school up there, but once the pandemic started, my girlfriend and I moved back to the property I grew up on with my brother and his partner, and it's a creative household. There's a lot of music and lots of good stuff going on. So that's nice to kind of be in a creatively stimulating environment, and I've just been spending a lot of time. I'm a visual artist as well, so I've kind of been taking this time to really just hone my craft and work on that, because the nice thing about doing visual art is you can do it in a solitary fashion a lot easier than music. So,
Yeah, very COVID safe.
yeah. Yes,
I love
indeed.
it. I love it. The motto of the show here is that distancing is mandatory, but suffering is optional. So I'm thrilled to hear stories of resilience and positivity in this dark time. And how about Kevin?
I've been playing a stupid amount of Dungeons and Dragons. So many people, and it's been amazing. It's how I learned how to do a lot of this nonsense on the computer. I do, between music and several sort of events that I go to throughout the year, I have a very widespread group of friends all over the States. And in the summertime, I typically get to see them for at least a couple of weeks, and I haven't been able to. A lot of those people, you know, we'll chat on the phone every once in a while, but that's really the only time we get to spend together. So instead of having just these 2 wonderful weeks with a lot of my friends, I've got to spend once a week at least, every single week, playing games with friends from New York to Florida, you know, and all over the states, and it's awesome. It's very, very much fun.
Do you think any of these people from the D&D community came to the kitchen table?
Well,
let me put it this way:
My
if there's
Sunday
any-
group is playing right now.
Oh,
and they said
I see.
They were like, "We're not waiting for you. You go do your
Okay.
little show thing.
Okay,
We'll
yeah,
do the important."
yeah.
I'm like, all right, fine.
We understand.
I think there might be some.
But the Monday group, the Tuesday group, the Wednesday morning group, the Wednesday afternoon group, we have a chance of getting them in here.
Yeah,
perhaps.
probably.
If you are a part of one of the multiple hands of D&D that's going on, is there any money exchange hands with this, or Bitcoin or anything, or is there any gambling aspect to D&D?
No, but now that you say that, I'm
we can call it D&G.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know. This is good. Okay. Well, fellas, give us two more pieces, and then we'll be swapping. And the whole idea of the show is that after the gig, when you're on the road, you always go back to somebody's house to crash. I have heard that there are people who, after the gig, go to hotels. I don't know much about it, but in my experience, you go back to someone's house to crash, and there's always a few more songs around the kitchen table. But we're not there yet. Geez, we're still in the gig, so please give us a few more tunes. Lots of great comments coming in, and I'm loving hearing it, so great to see you, and looking forward to what you got next.
Excellent. Well, I think Noah's going to treat us with a lovely tune that we learned from the boys in Mac a couple of years ago at some of the Irish festivals out on the coast. Noah, do you have anything more to say about it?
Yeah, this one's called Brakeman's Daughter, and it was written by a Scottish-Canadian folk singer, awesome musician named David Francie. And as Kevin said, yeah, we learned it from some friends from another band out on the beach, very, very late, very, very drunk one night at a festival. And I just love the song, and yeah, I'll give it a whirl here. Would you mind giving me a C? Took a job at a factory by the railway side, where the trains roll by, where the trains roll by. And a girl who was working there, she caught my eye. Where the trains roll by, where the trains roll by. Well, she moved like a shadow across the factory floor. Where the trains roll by, where the trains roll by. And I was standing at the shipping door. Where the trains roll by, where the trains roll by. And the lonesome sound of the whistle's moan echoes in my blood and bones, leaves us standing all alone with what we keep inside. And the lonesome whistle siren sound echoes Queen Street up and down, echoes all around the town and across the river wide. Upstairs is the insect click of the boards, where the trains roll by, where the trains roll by. It's all ones and zeros and never a word. Where the trains roll by, where the trains roll by. We were putting in windows looking south. Where the trains roll by, where the trains roll by. She caught me a-standing with no words in my mouth. Where the trains roll by, where the trains roll by. And the lonesome sound of the whistle's moan echoes in my blood and bones, leaves us standing all alone with what we keep inside. And the lonesome whistle siren sound echoes Queen Street up and down, echoes all around the town and across the river wide. It's a world I could visit, I could never stay. Where the trains roll by, where the trains roll by. I'll be leaving tomorrow at the end of the day. Where the trains roll by, where the trains roll by. And the lonesome sound of the whistle's moan echoes in my blood and bones, leaves us standing all alone with what we keep inside. And the lonesome whistle siren sound echoes Queen Street up and down, echoes all around the town and across the river wide. The Brakeman's Daughter.
Hold on, no.
All right, I think we're gonna do a Scottish song, but it's a Scottish song about a Scotsman being mistaken for an Irishman, and getting into a rather severe altercation with a policeman. Here's Aaron Gabraw. My name's Duncan Campbell frae the Shire Orgyle. I've travelled this country for many's the mile. I've travelled through Ireland, Scotland and all, and the name I goes under's bold Aaron Gabraw. Oh, one night in Old Reekie I walked in the street, when a saucy big police a chance for to meet. He growled in my face and he gave me some jaw, saying, "When cam ye our bold Aaron Gabraw?" Well, I am no a pat, though in Ireland I've been, nor am I a paddy, though Ireland I've seen. But were I a paddy, that's nothing at all, for there's many's a bold hero frae Aaron Gabraw. Well, I know you're a pat by the cut of your hair, but ye all turn to Scotsmen as soon as you're here. You've left your ain country for breaking the law, and we're seasoned stragglers frae Aaron Gabraw. Well, if I was a pat and you knew it was true, or was I the devil, then what's that to you? Were it no for the stick that you hold in your paw, I'd show ye a game played in Aaron Gabraw, than the lump of the blackthorn I held in my fist. Around his big body I made it to twist, and the blood from his napper I quickly did draw. Paid him stock and interest for Aaron Gabraw. People came around like a flock of wild geese, saying, "Catch that daft rascal, he's killed the police." And for every friend I had, I'm sure he had twa. It was terrible hard times for Aaron Gabraw. But I can't tell a wee boat that sailed in the Forth. I packed up me bags and I sailed for the north. Farewell to Old Reekie, ye police and all, and the devil gang away, ye, says Aaron Gabraw. So come on, young people, wherever you're from, I don't give a damn to what place you belong. I come fae Argyle in the Highlands of Braw, but I ne'er took it ill being called Aaron Gabraw. Oh, my name's Duncan Campbell frae the Shire Orgyle. I've travelled this country for many's the mile. I've travelled through Ireland, Scotland and all, and the name I goes under's bold Aaron Gabraw.
Beautiful, fellas. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm going to pick up that thread of altercations with the authorities. This one I got from Planksty. It's about a couple fellas who did a bunch of drinking. Then they decided to get on a ferry and go to the Isle of Man. On the ferry, they did a bunch of drinking, and wouldn't you know, once they got to the Isle of Man, they continued with the drinking. Only now the rare old stock spent the evening getting locked down at the Ace of Hearts where the high stools were engaging. Over the buck bridge down to the dock, the boat she sails at 5 o'clock. Hurry up, lads, now, says Whack, before we're there, we'll all be back. Carry them if you can. The crack was 90 in the Isle of Man. And for those of you that are not aware, I got to explain just a few things because it's almost St. Patrick's Day. Maybe you need the refresher because it's been 361 days since the last St. Patrick's Day. I'm talking about CRAIC, that's the Gaelic crack, nothing to do with the white powder that destroys lives. I'm talking about CRAIC. The crack is not me, it's not you, it's what's between us, and I'm having a great crack with the Biddy boys this afternoon here and with everybody else at the kitchen table, and I intend to keep having great crack. Now, there's a phrase in Ireland, the crack was 90. That means high. That's as high as it gets, all right? The crack is not going to be 91, 90. No, that crack is 90. That's as good as it gets. We're on a scale of 0 to 90, or maybe even negatives to 90. I've never heard of the crack being higher than 90. I'm a little afraid of what it could be. Where were we now? Oh, the crack was 90 in the Isle of Man. Four street subs and the basin, the ding dong we were surely racing. In the bar of the ship, we had great sport until the ship pulled out from port. When we reached the Douglas Head, it inquired for the vacant bed. The dining room we were showed by a grand landlady up the road, saying, "Eat, lads, we can." The crack was 90 in the Isle of Man. Session in a pub they called it Garvey's. What's been up at 3:30? What's been swimming? Must have been drunk at 3:30 to sober up. We went swimming in the sea. Oh, the crack was 90 in the Isle of Man. That night we went to the Texas bar, came back to town in the horse and car. Met Big Jim and we all went in to drink some wine in the Aces. It was said that he used to go drinking in the Douglas Head. Shane was there in a suit and shirt. Liverpool girls just trying to flirt, saying, "Here goes, I'm your man." The crack was 90 in the Isle of Man. She had a Liverpool lad by her side who was throwing the drinking to her. The whacker thought he'd take a chance. He asked your woman out to dance. On the floor they stepped it up, and no whack, it was no bother. Everything was going to plan. The crack was 90 in the Isle of Man. The Isle of Man woman, she fancied whack. The man who waited, those mates came back. Whack, they all whacked into whack. Oh, whack got whacked out on his back. Oh, police arrived as well. We ran to a couple of them, I tell. Ended up in the Douglas jail before the Dublin boat did sail and boarded every man. The crack was 90 in the Isle of Man. Now I noticed certain members of the listening audience and will be enjoying the feel, David's great bow on playing, and just kind of get lost in the reverie of the whole experience. But at this point, have no idea what has happened in the song, so occasionally I like to slow down and let people know there is a character in the song whose name is Whacker. And that's why everything got a little bit confusing there. And I sometimes like to just rewind and do the last verse with that in mind. Just myself and the bow on. Whacker thought he'd take a chance. He asked your woman out to dance. On the floor they stepped it up, and no whack, it was no bother. Everything was going to plan. Well, the crack was 90 in the Isle of Man. Here it goes. Oh, the Isle of Man woman, she fancied whack. Your man, he quitted. Those mates came back. Whack, they all whack into whack. Oh, whack got whacked out on his back. Oh, police arrived as well. We enjoyed a couple of them, I'd tell. Ended up in the Douglas jail until the Dublin boat did sail and boarded every man. Trackless 98, the Isle of Man. One more!
Hoo-wee.
Back to the Biddy Boys, a follow-up on the theme of altercations with authorities.
Well, I think we can kind of well, like a Uno, we're gonna alter slightly, gonna keep going because there's the character in there, McShane, who is hey, here goes, I'm your man. This is another story about a guy named McShane who has an altercation, but not with a member of authority.
Oh, me name is McShane from the plains of Kildare, and a farmer I was up into the last year. Oh, and I took a notion of higher promotion, went over to England to harvest a share. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay. I parted with Molly so blithe and so jolly, a lump of a stick for a staff in me hand, and to keep myself cheery for fear I get weary, I sang paddy whack as I went on the way. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay. I landed at Dunbarton on a fine summer's evening, me bundle and staff I held close in me hand. There were some of them laughing and some of them chaffing, more of them trying to put Paddy away. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay. I went up to a woman, I asked her for lodging, said she, me young man, now don't look so dull, for I will tell you where you can get lodging with a woman who lives next door to the Black Bull. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay. I went up to this woman, I asked her for lodging, she instantly showed me to a bed in the room, and I being so tired and worn out from walking, flung myself down on the bed in the room. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay. But a lump of a tinker lay up in the corner, says he to himself he would kill all was there. Says I be bold tinker, give over your bragging, I'm bold McShane from the plains of Kildare. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay. Well, he went for to punch me a one in the stomach, I instantly fetched him a one in the throat. Then he tumbled head over his heels in the corner, laid his head down on an old rusty pot. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay. He lay up in the corner like a sheep, he was bleating. I feared to myself I had took all his life, but I sent for the lady to bring us a naggin. Me and the tinker soon mended all strife. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay. Oh, me name is McShane from the plains of Kildare, and a farmer I was up into the last year. Oh, and I took a notion of higher promotion, went over to England to harvest a share. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay. Rum to rela, oh rum to reladdy, rum to relam, oh rum to relay.
Very nice, fella. Very nice.
a
I
dram
caught a
to
lyric
heal
in there
all
I'd not caught before. I love it when the character rests his head on a clay pot. Is that the story?
He laid his head down in an old rusty pot.
Laid
So
his head
presumably
down on
a chamber pot or something like
Oh,
that.
well, you took
something unsavory.
Yeah. That reminded. There's a story that goes around about John Martin and Danny Thompson. They toured together for a while, and there's a lot of folklore about these guys. One is that they never rehearsed. The story was they never. Not only did they never rehearse, but they never talked about the music. They just would get on stage and play, and they're both amazing. And I wish I was there. But they also would enjoy some hijinks and beverages in the course of their tours. And at one point, either John put Danny under a carpet or the other way around, deep in the night when one was passed out, such that one of them woke up underneath a carpet in a living room. So just kind of on the subject of where one might end up at the end of a gig, at the end of a night.
I have been known to wake up under the mattress. That has happened to me before.
That's not a bad name for an album.
Oh, under the
Biddy
mattress.
on the bench, under the mattress.
And we're all in the pictures, all of us like dressed like bed bugs.
Bed bugs is something that, if you've experienced, you don't even want to hear it joked about. Woo! One time I got bed bugs in France, and the only thing good about it was being able to say now, hey, I got bed bugs in France, because it sounds kind of romantic when you say, I got bed bugs in France. But it wasn't romantic to get bed bugs in France. It hurt a lot to get bed bugs in France, and I caught a flight up to Scotland from France with bed bugs, welts on my nose. And I had to get into a hotel in Edinburgh, where I washed all my clothes in a tub. It was the only time I got a hotel on that tour, and I was lonely with my clothes in the tub. That's what happened when I got bed bugs in France. Well, you never know what's going to happen here at the kitchen table. I'm going to do one more. You guys are going to do one more, and then we are going to play something on the show here we call Stump the Band, and we have a caller ready to go. They're ready to stump us. But before we sort of on the theme of traveling a bit there with these tunes, I love Pecker Dunn, and Pecker made this one his own. I'll do the Pecker version. Oh, my name is Patty. I'm called Pecker Dunn. My cry is for all for one. I walk the road, and I never run. I'm the last of the traveling people. With me banjo and fiddle, me arm and a song, I sing for all people who do me no wrong. If others despise me, I just move along. I know I'll find friends in the morning. Money is money, and friends they are friends, and drinking with them is where all money ends. But it isn't on money, it's on friends I depend when times the guards are against me. From Belfast to Wexford, from Clare to Tralee, a town with a pub, it's a living for me. I never go easy, but God, I am free. I'm the last of the traveling people. Choose, and I'm always a winner. I never lose in the pride of any race. The last of the few. I'm the last of the traveling people. Well, I'm on the road again, traveling still. In summer and winter, keep traveling I will. The road isn't easy, nor will kill. back over to the Biddy on the bench, boys. And remind everybody, please do put a few dollars in the old digital tip jar. It all comes into me, but I spread it around. Believe you me, you can trust me, even if you're a guy who's into D&D. Believe you me, we'll be spreading around all those digital dollars that come in from Portland East to Portland West. Fellas, what do you got next?
Little song called Lowlands of Holland. And Trevor's going to follow it up with a bit of a tune. So, here we go. Yep. Sorry, Trevor, that might have been fast.
That was fast.
Yes.
Woo!
That
Not too fast for my ears. I thought it sounded good.
Yeah. Me too, man.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So we got a caller, and I don't even know this caller's name. David, do we have him on the line?
No.
We don't have him on the line. Okay, so we are So this is a new situation here. We have not connected. So let's just throw it right out to Henry St. Clair there in St. Louis. I bet he can stump us in the comments in real time. Henry, I'm really throwing this at you here, but I also
stump the audience. Is that what we're just saying?
I know that you're watching, and I know that you know my repertoire, and you might know an Irish tune to throw at these guys. Henry, can you put something in the comments? Maybe we need to give you a chance. Do you guys want to do another quick one here to give Henry a chance at it? Or see if our caller calls in?
Probably should be calling. I know they're watching.
Okay.
They're probably just trying to figure out the things.
No, you have a suggestion?
Yeah, you want to do Fanula just for a weird song's sake?
Yeah.
One of my favorite sakes of all sakes.
Yeah.
For weirdness sake.
I like the sake that you get when you go to the sushi bar. I like it when it's warm.
Have you ever tried it cold?
Yeah.
I have. Room temperature is also good.
Yeah. So here's a song. This one comes from the Isle of Barra, which is a little island in the Outer Hebrides of Scotland, and it's called Fanula. And I think, Trevor, do you want to give us a little drone?
Is that what you guys wanted? What key?
It's D.
D.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretend you're a bagpipe.
Yeah. Just keep that drone going. Orstingo for the mirstingo for the mirstingo lishino what about an honest no got out of the higgies and in the born and the born behind the fiddle and in the born and behind the fiddle vein of vetter fullaman and vein and vetter fullaman and in the back of a vein emigress and a ring nam harigna denilancy and in the born and behind the fiddle and in the born and behind the fiddle vein of vetter fullaman and vein and vetter fullaman and in the back of a vein emigress and a ring nam harigna denilancy and the born behind the fiddle and in the born behind the fiddle how does she that in the show how does she that in the show how does she that in the show vein emigress and a ring nam harigna denilancy and the born behind the fiddle and in the born behind the fiddle hoistingo for the mirstingo nation of about to notice no got out of the higgies and in the born and behind the fiddle and in the born behind the fiddle how does she that in the show how does she that in the show how does she that in the show vein emigress and a ring nam harigna denilancy and in the born behind the fiddle and in the born behind the fiddle.
Well, legit, fellas. Well done.
Thank you,
Wow.
Robert.
Wow. How many whiskeys can you have and still pull that one off?
All of them.
All of them. All of
It
them.
actually
it's
gets
a
better
Hebrides
than-
tune. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
It loosens up your tongue so the syllables can just come smacking out, you know.
right. That was the slow version. That was the slow version.
exactly.
Yeah, right. Do we have a caller on the line?
No.
Okay, we don't have a caller on the line. Did Henry heed my last minute plea to be stumped?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So Henry's requests are first he says crack a plenty at the kitchen table tonight. Okay, The Werewolf by Michael Hurley.
Okay.
Patty
All right.
McGinty's Goat. And
I think he's just making songs up.
I've got the goat, but not
hold
the
on,
song.
hold on. Our caller is actually here now.
Oh.
What's the third one?
I
The,
wanna hear the third.
the third request from Henry is Finnegan's Wake.
Well, two I've never heard of and one I've never learned. So we are substantially stumped by Henry there. I have heard and had the pleasure of seeing Michael Hurley a number of times. He lives there. He lives outside Astoria, but we think of that as just like we think of Somerville as Boston. We think of Astoria as Portland when you live far away. But now we have the caller on the line, which is going to give us a fighting chance of not being stumped. All right. I don't know the name of our caller. David, do you?
Yeah, 703. Oh, hold on.
Welcome, 703.
The caller is on the line.
Hey, caller, I don't know your name. What's your name?
Hey, my name is, all the gentlemen there are going to refer to me as Chili. We'll leave it at
Chili.
that.
Chili, that's incredible.
Chili.
Are you familiar with the artist Hamel on Trial?
I don't think so.
Okay, he's great. He's one of my inspirations. Originally from Syracuse, but lives outside New York City. Anti-folk storyteller, beat, incredible. But he's got a whole piece of which Chili is involved. Total sidetrack for the moment, and we're going to leave that alone right there. We can talk about that later.
That was great. You stumped the caller on the
Yeah.
first go. Like, immediately.
Oh man, first shot.
Shots fired.
Can't say enough good things about Hamel on Trial. In fact, I ordered this record, Hamel Comes Alive, which is his live album. He was opening up Ani DeFranco for a tour maybe 10 years ago, and I've listened to it a million times. I know everything about it, but I ordered a new vinyl version. I mean, that's the kind of fan I am. Anyways, moving on, Chili. What's happening?
Finished a long shift of work and then enjoying a Guinness Extra Stout in one hand, a Glenlivet 12 year in the other.
Wow, I see. That's like peace. It's like ecumenical. You know, it's you're reaching across national boundaries there. Now, did I hear you're in D.C.?
I am in D.C.
So, what is it like to hang out with AOC?
Oh man, if only, that'd be amazing.
She seems very personable from her Instagram feed. You know, she seems very down to earth. Wouldn't you love to run into AOC and just chew the fat? But my guess is we're not the only ones who feel that way. So, anyways, let's move right along. What is the vibe? You know, are there just National Guard everywhere in D.C. still?
Not right now. So we're south of D.C. in Northern Virginia. I think all the guard is cleared out by now. A lot of the barriers around the Capitol are still up. I know they're trying to work on taking those down, but I haven't really been trying not to keep too close of an eye on that.
Right. Yeah, we all were watching way too much news for too long, and then we've gone back to our own lives a little bit, and that's good. We've elected people to do representative democracy so that we don't have to do it every day. And I think that's a wonderful thing. So let's get back to the task at hand here, which is stumping the band. And we were deeply stumped by Henry, and we're hoping we're going to pull this off, or we may be double stumped. Chili, I understand that you used to play music with Kevin, and maybe even with the Biddy Boys, I'm not sure. And so give us your
we played with
request.
Kevin and Trevor.
Okay. Yeah, we did. We did play together, indeed.
Back when we were just not even old enough to actually be playing in most of the bars. But the trick was we all had like sideburns and crap. So, you know, people kind of looked at us and they're like, those guys probably aren't old enough, but...
Wow, they are cool.
Is that what they're...
Sideburns. I got them.
I think the shaved head did it for me.
Yeah.
Chili, give it to us. We're looking for 3 requests of any nature. I mean, you're leading the ship here, and we're going to be the crew and do the best we can to row these requests ashore.
All right. So I chatted with my wife because we kind of know Kevin and Trevor's repertoire, and I kind of stuck with some Dubliners stuff here. I was thinking if you could guys pull out of your magic bag of tricks there, Paddy on the Railway by the Dubliner.
That's number 1. All right, we're going to send the research librarians in our brain back to review those files, see how they're looking, and we're going to look for requests number 2 and 3.
2 is going to be Go to See No More, also by the Dubliners.
Oh, beautiful tune. Beautiful tune.
And then 3 is, I think I know Kevin knows this, but I'd love to see kind of everyone come together on this if they could. Broad Majestic Shannon.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful requests. None of which I can do, which means that this is all relying on the younger generation, and I believe in them. We're handing you a big climate problem. We're also handing you the Broad Majestic Shannon.
Yes,
thank you, Robert. We're on it.
Okay.
Got the climate problem under control.
Well, Kevin, I know all the words to Off to See No More.
Oh, do them both
Go to
then.
See No More.
Oh,
yeah.
please do that.
I could figure the chords out for sure.
Yeah.
Trevor, do you think you can get some fiddle in there? I know back in the day, Nick used to sing that.
I might know a slightly different version. I've heard the Jerry Garcia and David Grisman version of it. But we could try hashing it out and see how it goes if you want.
Is this the tune? I'll go to sea no more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, love this tune. Love this tune.
Do you know where you would want to try?
But who wrote this
Probably.
tune?
Let's do it in G. I mean, why not?
Somebody in the comments can answer that question.
As far as Patty works the real way, I know like.
Chili, thank you for tuning in. You got us all excited here. We're going into the trad hole, and if you see AOC, tell her we believe in her, and she's doing great work. And if you see Bernie, tell him that we love him. We just love him. We just love him. From the kitchen table to Bernie, through Chili, we love him. We love you, Chili. Thanks for tuning in. And
still feeling the burn.
Let's see what the boys got.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, Chili.
Bye, guys.
So yeah, Kevin, I think I've done it in G. Yeah, G, D, E minor, C. Yeah, something. When first I come to Liverpool, I went upon a spree. Me money, alas, I spent too fast, got drunk as drunk could be. And when my money was all gone, 'twas then I wanted more. But a man must be blind to make up his mind to go to sea once more. I spent the night with Angeli, too drunk to roll in bed. Me watch was new and me money too. In the morning with him she fled. And as I walked the streets about, the horse they all would roar. There goes Jack Rack, the young sailing lad. You must go to sea no more. And as I walked the streets about, I met with Rapper Brown. I asked him to take me in, and he looked at me with a frown. He said, last time you was paid off with me, you job no score. But I'll take your advance and I'll give you a chance, and I'll send you to sea once more. I hired me aboard of a whaling ship bound for the Arctic Sea, where the cold winds blow and the frost and the snow, and Jamaican rum would freeze. And worst and bare, I'd no hard weather gear, for I'd left all my money ashore. 'Twas then I wished that I was dead, so I'd go to sea no more. Take it, Trevor. Some days we're catching whales, me lads, and some days we're catching none. With a 20-foot oar cocked in our hands from 4 o'clock in the morn. And when the shades of night come in, we'll rest on our weary oars. 'Twas then I wished that I was dead, or safe with the girls ashore. Come all you bold seafaring men and listen to my song. If you come off of them long trips, I'd have yous not go wrong. Take my advice, drink no strong drink, don't go sleeping with no whores. Get married, lads, and have all night in, and go to sea no more. It's close. It's close.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I bet this band was not stumped. That is legit. Thank you, fellas. And Kevin, if you haven't, we'll hear a blast of the Wide Majestic Shannon.
I'd love to.
All right.
Trevor, I don't know if you want to join me.
Sure.
I know it's been
What
a
key?
minute, but I was going to do it in C. I used to do it in D, but
All right.
my voice is a little bit lower after a year of not singing. Like,
Never be afraid to lower the key is my motto. It's a strange motto.
the first time I saw you was down at the creeks. There was whiskey on Sunday, tears on our cheeks. You sang me a song that was pure as the breeze on the road leading up Glenavy. We sat for a while at the crossing Finu, where young lovers would meet when the flowers were in bloom. You heard the men coming from the fair in Shinroan, their hearts into prairie, wherever they go. Take my hand, dry your tears, babe. Take my hand, get your fears, babe. There's no pain, there's no more sorrow. They're all gone, gone in the years, baby. I sat for a while at the gap in the hole, found a rusty tin can and an old Erlen gun, the cards being dealt, and the rosary coal, and the fiddle played Shandoon and Young. Well, the next time I'll see you be down at the Greeks, there'll be whiskey on Sunday, tears on our cheeks. We're stupid to laugh, and it's useless to bawl about a rusty tin can and an old Erlen ball. Take my hand, dry your tears, babe. Take my hand, get your fears, babe. There's no pain, there's no more sorrow. They're all gone, gone in the years, babe. So I watched as day was dawning, where small birds sang, leaves were falling, where we once watched the rowboats landing by the broad majestic Shannon, where we once watched the rowboats landing by the broad majestic Shannon.
Here.
Lovely fellas. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
One of my favorites.
The great Shane McGowan.
Very much so.
Fellas, thank you so much for being on the show. Looking forward to seeing you in the reels when that happens down the line. Stay safe. Thanks for your great music, and to all the people out there, please put a few euros, a few. What other currencies could they put? They could put Canadian dollars. They could put
Pints.
Pints. Please, everybody, put a few pints in the digital tip jar, and I'll be shipping those pints down to Portland to these great fellas. And I don't know if it's true or not that they figured out the technology to be able to live stream and play at the same time. That's a question for the ages. And thanks to everybody who stumped us, Chili and Henry. Henry stumped us, but we were able to come through for Chili. I got another song, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. So, fellas, I'm going to wave goodbye. Thank you so much. Stay on the line.
Robert.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank you.
everybody, and
this was wonderful.
thank you to Casey who couldn't be here tonight, and Pam for producing us tonight. So thank you so much for David and Robert. Love you guys. See you soon.
Thanks, fellas. And we will, of course, be doing St. Patrick's Day show 5 to 8. We'll have our bandmate Jan Peters joining us for that one. These fellows are going to be out at McMillan's Edgefield in some combination, isolated. They got those bubbles that Spinal Tap uses. They're going to be performing from within those bubbles, and that way everybody's going to be cool. Well, one great Irish song about a river deserves another. We're talking about the Shannon there. I'm going to give you one about the River Liffey. One of my favorite tunes. I just love this tune so much. Mary Barry, can't remember her first name. Peckerdon and, is it Mary Barry? It's not Mary Barry. Margaret. Maggie Barry. Yeah, I got this off a record of the two of them. Was down by Anna Liffey, my love, and I did stray. Was in the good old soggy mud, the seagulls sport and play. We caught a whiff of ray and chips, and Mary softly sighed, "Oh John, won't you come for one and one down by the Liffey side?" Up along on George's Street, the lovey-bearded view, and Mary swanked it like a queen in her skirt of navy blue. Her hat, it was newly trimmed, her hair was newly dyed. Oh, yeah, could it be her amber locks down by the Liffey side? On her old melodeon, so sweetly she did play. She played Goodbye and Do Not Cry down by Texas Way. And when she turned to Vader, I nearly burst with pride. Oh, to see her sing the soldier's song down by the Sunday morning early, to Main Street we will go to see old Father Murphy there and make our wedding vow. He'll join our hands in wedding bands, then we'll go outside for a whole afternoon of honeymoon down by the side. Play it down, David. thanks to the Biddy on the Bench boys. When things get normal, make sure to follow them and go check out their gigs wherever they're playing around there in the Portland area. They got the gig at the Highland Stillhouse there, and it's Oregon City is what it is. Yeah, there's the south, right on the Willamette, damn it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little pub. Man, we had a great night there. One of the last real gigs I played, so it's holding a very special point in my memory. And this is a special night too, because let me say this. It was 1 year ago on March 14th that we did our very first live stream. David, myself, and our brother Young Peters. It was a Saturday night then. And we had a gig and it got canceled, so we did a live stream and we said, wow, this is actually pretty cool. And who would have thunk it that we would keep doing it? But we have, and thanks for everybody for doing it with us. It gives us a sense of purpose, and we hope it gives you some joy in your week, eases the isolation. We hope you have a little bit of laughter and a nice time. Distancing is mandatory, but suffering is optional. And of course, on Wednesday is St. Patrick's Day. We'll be doing our show 5 to 8. We hope you join us then. And then we are taking a little pause in the Kitchen Table Show. We're taking 3 Sundays off to pull ourselves together, and we're going to get ready for the summer season. That'll be season 3, and somewhere in there will be our 50th Kitchen Table. So we've done a lot of shows, and so we're going to enjoy a little break and get our scene together. April we will be indoors at this location, but come May we're going to start doing outdoor shows in backyards to small audiences. If you have a backyard that would be suitable for a small audience with a high internet signal that we can plug our Ethernet cable into, we're not coming too close to you. We are unvaccinated, so we are keeping separated, but we look forward to playing to small, vaccinated, separated audiences in May and into the summer. Thanks for being with us here at the Kitchen Table. My name is Robert Sarazin Blake. David Pender Lofgren on my right is the one who really makes us all happy. And we always close with a song from our good buddy Hank Waddell in Cork City. When you take a trip to Cork City, be sure to stop into Charlie's on a Monday night. He plays there every Monday night unless there's a pandemic. Along with Ray. I feel like I've been leaving Ray out a lot. You know? Well, Ray didn't write the song. Hank does the show with Ray every Monday. Mandolin players, you know. Don't forget about the mandolin players. Ray didn't forget about you. It's great to see you, because we thought you were dead. You come back to life, you get out of your bed. It's great to see you. Was that your ghost? Thought you were gone, burnt toast. It's great to see you. Whisper nothing, sing softly on your ear. Try not to cut short the moment that's here. Shadow it might be, feelings clear. I couldn't ask for anything more. It's all about the times I share. It's all about the times I share. Great to see you. Are you gonna stay? Are you here for the long night? Are you leaving at the break of day? It's great to see you. Yeah, it's true. It's great to see you. It's great to be near you. It's all about the times we share. It's all about the times we share. It's all